Recording now.
Perfect. All right, I still see some people hopping on, but we're gonna go ahead and get going because it's 7:46. So before we get started, I want you guys to make sure that you use the chat option. If you think of anything, any question related to inviting, because that's what this topic is about, please put it in the chat and we will address that at the end, because we've been trying to leave 10 minutes open just to kind of go through Q&A, which I think is super helpful. So, okay, guys, inviting. So it is one of the vital behaviors, right? One of the most important vital behaviors, and I think for most of us, it's a very scary one. We don't want to do it. We avoid it at all costs. I know I do. That's like the last thing I want to do when it comes to my business. I would rather like check in with my group and, do well, I don't really like graphics, but like talk to people. I would rather do all that than actually just send out invites. But let me just say this. It is essential to your business. You have to do it, and you have to get past the fear of inviting, period. Your business is not going to grow if you do not push yourself outside your comfort zone and send invites, okay? People are not going to come running to you. Can we all just say that? People are not. If you haven't realized that yet, they do not come flocking, right? Because when you think about what we do, you guys, people starting their health and fitness journey is a scary thing. I want you to think about when you first started your health and fitness journey. How long did it take you to say yes to your coach? Can we just talk about that for a second? How long did it take you to decide in your mind that you were going to go for this? Okay. I can name so many of my people. Ashley just said almost a year in the chat. See, you guys, there are so many amazing coaches who turn down their coach time after time after time after time. If you do not keep reaching out and keep inviting, you are going to miss opportunities to help people, period. Okay? So when you think of inviting, you can't think of it as a huge, big, scary thing. You have to think of it as an opportunity to give someone that opportunity in their life to help them change their life, right? That is what we do. Okay? And I don't want to make light of it. Like, it's not corny. It's not, it really is life changing what we do. When we can offer someone the resources that we have and the community that we have, like, that is so amazing. So you have to first and foremost think about that in your mind when you go to send an invite, okay? There are more people that are going to say thanks but no thanks instead of leave me alone. I've never gotten that. I've never gotten leave me alone ever. Ashley, I don't think she's shaking her head no. There are not many people who are going to flat out be mean to you and just say no. Most people say, not right now. If I had the money, you always hear those excuses. And that always means exactly what it means, not right now. It could be later on, okay? And it is your job to continue to reach out to them, okay? So I want to talk to you first. Again, I'm going to mention this, the business activity tracker. On this, the vital inviting behavior is on here, and it says invite at least 5 people to join a challenge group or learn about coaching. There's only 5 invites on here a day, you guys. So 5 invites, where does that come from? Okay, now, can you do more than 5 invites? Of course. Lately, I've been doing 20 invites because that feels good to me. It's not like too much. It's just enough to where when people do respond to me, I can take my time and message them back. It depends on where you are in your business, you guys. If you don't have a ton of followers and, like you don't, 20 invites is really overwhelming to you and you feel like you're going to run out of people, all at once. If you do that, then don't do 20, do 5 people, do, 10 people, if depending on how many followers you have. But yes, any is better than none. Okay. Even if you can send 2 invites a day, that's better than nothing. Okay. Being consistent in your invites is going to be key. Okay. So where do your invites come from? I will just tell you that I am not a cold market inviter. I don't just go out to random people that I don't know, who I've never seen on my page, and invite them, because I'm trying to attract people that I want on my team that are most like me. And if somebody did that to me, I'm not even going to respond to them. I'm going to be one of those people who ghost them, honestly. So I'm not going to invite someone that hasn't been liking my post, watching my stories, commenting on my post, asking me questions in my stories about my food or whatever. I'm not going to invite those people. I only invite from people who are actively on my page, because to me, they're telling you, I like your style. I like what you're doing. There's something about you that keeps me coming back, right? So if they're liking your post, you need to be inviting them. If they are commenting or in your stories, you guys know how to see in your stories who's viewing them. Invite them, you guys, and you will notice in your stories it's the same people, right, that see your stories over and over. If they're watching your daily life every single day and they're in your stories, girl, they like you. They want what you have. They want something that you're doing. They want to be a part of your challenge group, or they're just inspired by you, by your health and fitness journey, or they think your style is cool and they want to know more about that. Hey, that's awesome. You can use that as a conversation tool to talk to them about their life and get to know them. Okay. But let me just say this. You don't have to always invite right off the bat. You first need to make a connection with those people. Okay. Because if you're anything like me, you don't want that person to just if you automatically get an invite from somebody and you've never had a conversation with them, that kind of makes you feel like, oh, they just want me for money, right? Like they want me to buy their product. They want me to, whatever. They want me to buy their lotion or whatever it is. So I would rather like have a conversation or share a recipe or talk to them about something in my stories first and have some kind of foundation before I actually invite them. Okay. So if this is where engagement and your stories really come into play, because your stories should be every single day causing engagement with your people. You should not only, like we've talked about this before, you shouldn't only just be showing health and fitness. You need to be showing other parts of your life, because people are not always going to be able to relate to just health and fitness, right? Because that's a scary thing. They don't know how to do meal prep, and most people aren't working out. And when they see that in you, like they need something else that they can relate to. So share, your kids, share a funny thing with your husband, share something that you're interested in, a hobby that you do. And then you can do polls, you guys. We talked about how to do those in your stories. Do polls that have nothing to do with health and fitness, and use that as a conversation starter with people that can eventually lead into your group or health and fitness. Okay. Sometimes you have to give it a couple weeks before you can invite somebody, before you establish that foundation. But I only invite the people who, like I said, are on my page, who are, I'm seeing them constantly in my stories, liking my stuff, that kind of thing. I don't just go to random people and invite them. What does inviting sound like? So I am never going to give you guys a script. I have been given lots of scripts since I've been a coach. Here's a good, like, here's what I'm sending, send these out today. And I would go and send them, and it sounded nothing like me. And I just want to encourage you guys that when you invite, it needs to sound like you. If you talk and you never say, hey, girl, don't start your invite with, hey, girl. Don't. You need your invite to sound most like you. Think about when you are talking to your friend and you're excited about a new product or something that's, anything. Like when we get excited about things, we go and tell people, right? Like Jay and I just saw the movie Overcomer this weekend. It was amazing. Y'all need to go see it. For real, it's amazing. Okay, like I'm going to tell people that because it was awesome. It was so inspiring. I'm not going to hold that back. We have to think about that with our health and fitness journey. I love MM100. I love the workouts. I love what they're doing to my body. I love our meal plans. I love our Shakeology. I'm going to tell people about it in my own kind of way. And I'm going to tell them about what it's done for me. Not Shakeology has all these amazing superfoods in it and and list all kinds of ingredients. I'm going to say, girl, this shake is amazing. It has all the good stuff in it. It's my multivitamin, and I love experimenting with it and putting all kinds of stuff in it. It's my fave. Like, that's how I would say it, like I'm just going to be real and I'm going to talk the way that I would talk to my friend. So you have to think about when you invite how you would actually talk to people and relate it to your own story. Because when you start, giving people facts, then it sounds more salesy. But if you say, this challenge group has changed my life because it's helped set a routine for me. I always talk about 80-day obsession a lot when I talk to people, because I say, that program, I got up at 4 a.m. when I was teaching. I had so many hard mornings, but that program, I had a love-hate relationship with it, but it taught me so much discipline. And I am different, you guys, because of that program. Like, I work out consistently now because I finished 80-day obsession. And that's what these programs have done for me. It's caused consistency in my workouts. So when you're inviting, you have to think about you and talking to that person as a friend. So I'm not going to give you an invite and say, this is how you need to invite. I will give you some pointers and say that when you invite, you always need to end with a question, because you don't want to leave them with, okay, let me know, because they're probably not going to let you know. You do need to say, what do you think about that? Or would you like more details? Or would you be up to see if that's a good fit for you? I like to say that because it gives them like, hey, you have options here. This may not be for you. Beachbody isn't for everybody. Let's just be honest. Like, some people, it's not. They're happy with what they do at their gym or whatever. Can you guys still hear me? Okay. I like froze up for a second. So, yeah, Ashley said, does that sound like something you'd like to jump in with us for September? That's a good way to end it, with a question. But when you start your invite, it needs to sound most like you. Okay. I like to also use some words that people, I think, are more interested in, like accountability group. I know some people use boot camp. I like to say either challenge group or accountability group. I say that more because a lot of people know what that is. Like, they know accountability is accountability. And also boot camp kind of sounds a little intimidating. When I hear boot camp, I think like, mud all over me with like people yelling at me. So like, you just have to think of terms that are what would be inviting to you, like what would you reach out to someone about if they had that posted on their page. Okay. So your stories need to reflect engagement so that you can eventually get that connection, so that you can invite. And also, we talked about this before, but not right now means not right now. It'll happen later. I want to tell you guys a story. I put this in my coaching page. I don't know if all my coaches saw this or not, but this just goes to show how inviting over and over and over and over and over again pays off. I had a lady who I've literally been talking to for the last 2 years. I've only been a coach for 2 years, you guys, since August 2017. And I've constantly reached out to her. I actually know who she is. She's a dental hygienist at the dentist that I go to. She doesn't clean my teeth, but she goes there. And ever since I've been coaching, I have reached out to her, invited her. She's always said, not right now. I don't have the money. I'm not ready, that kind of thing. And she was on my follow-up list this past month, reached out to her, and she was like, yes, I'm ready to do this. I've already lost 50 pounds. I had a workout buddy. She was going to the gym with me, but now she's kind of wimped out, and I need some accountability. I need these programs and, the at-home workouts. I looked back on the first day that I reached out to her, and it was September 2017. I started coaching August 2017, you guys. So literally, as long as I've been a coach, I have been reaching out to her, and she finally said yes. Okay, so you cannot let a no bother you. Can we just say that? You cannot let someone turning you down and saying not right now or giving you an excuse be your, ruin your day or define who you are as a coach. That does not define who you are as a coach. That just means they're not ready right now, you guys. One thing I've learned is that mindset is everything. If your mindset is not ready for weight loss, then they're not ready. They're probably going to get in the group and do nothing. Okay. So it's probably best, anyways, until they are fully committed, mind, body, soul, financially, everything for you and your services as a coach. Okay. So don't be upset when you get that. You have to keep reaching out and know that they're eventually going to come around. And if you're not there for them, and if you're not going to keep inviting, you could miss that opportunity to help them out. So you're going to be told not right now. You may be told no. You may even be told, I'll reach back out to you when I'm ready. I've gotten that before. I've never gotten any like really bad messages or just like leave me alone. But you cannot let the no's define you. Okay. I can't say that enough. I know Ashley can attest to this. We all get told, for every 100 invites, you guys, you might have 10 people that respond to you. And out of those 10, you may have one person that purchases a challenge bag. You may not have any. Like, that's just the odds. That's how it is with this business. Okay. So don't feel like you're alone in that, or you're doing something wrong, or you don't have enough people, or, your market's just not into health and fitness or whatever. It's the same all around. Okay. So that is pretty much what I wanted to talk to you about. Inviting. It has to be done. It has to be consistent. If you have not printed this yet, go print it. Right now, after this call, go print it, because you need to be consistent not only in inviting 5 invites a day, but also all the other vital behaviors. Okay. You may not see immediate results from this right away, but it's consistency, you guys. It is over and over doing the habits every single day that builds your business, just like with your weight loss program. You do all the things every day. You don't see the weight falling off every single day, but you do it because you know it's going to produce results. It's the same here. Okay. So our goal for you this week, we've had like a little task for you. We want you to send at least 5 invites this week. Your tracker here is 5 invites a day. I personally think you can all do that, 5 invites a day, but we're only asking that you do 5 invites for this week. Step it up, get past your fear, and go invite those people. I guarantee you can find 5 people who are liking your stuff, commenting, asking you questions somewhere on your page, you can find those people, okay? And remember too that it doesn't have to be people on your page. It can be people in your life. A lot of you have people that you work with, that you're around, that you talk to every day. They're seeing your changes. They're seeing, you know, your health journey, and they're asking you questions. Invite them. Invite them to the group. Tell them all about it. Friends and family are the best place to start. That's where everybody starts. When I started as a teacher, my whole school was doing Beachbody pretty much. A lot of the challenge ladies in my challenge group were from my school, and it's because I was talking about it in the workroom, and I was sharing, you know, the meal plan and Shakeology and all of that. So don't be afraid to talk in person as well. I think we have a few minutes. One other thing I wanted to say is, which I talked about this a little bit, but letting other parts of your life be the conversation starter. So one thing I did this past month that worked really well for me, I had like a new mac and cheese recipe in my stories, and I asked, you know, if they were interested in that recipe, and I had over like 50, probably 60, close to 60 people who commented on the poll and said, yes, I want the recipe. So instead of just automatically sending them an invite, I sent them the recipe first. And then when they responded to me and said, thank you, because most people did, thank you so much, I would say, you're welcome. And if you need any other ideas or meal plan ideas, that's where I get a lot of my ideas, is from our accountability group. If you would be up for more information, something like that. So I kind of led into that, and I had a lot of conversations going from that one poll about my mac and cheese. I don't know if anybody actually purchased, but I had a lot of conversations that will eventually lead into, you know, maybe someone joining the group. So just keep those little things in mind when you're thinking about inviting as well. Okay, we have a few minutes. Does anybody have any questions in the chat? Yeah, Ashley said, if they say I'll reach out to you when I'm ready, I still invite them next month too. Because if they're willing to say, like, maybe, like, it might be better next month, then of course I'm going to remind them. What do you do to start building connections before you actually invite? Did I address that, Ashley? Do you feel like?
Just to reiterate that, that's just like you gave the example of your mac and cheese. Like, that's a way that you're initiating a connection that has nothing to do with Beachbody. So just asking that question for like everybody, for the general good of the group. Just like building connections by, if you have kids, finding other people that have kids and just talking to them about your kids. Like, oh, my kid is like going through their terrible twos or whatever, like they're going through this stage in life, like, have you already been through that? Like, oh my gosh. And just like relate to them on everything and anything. That could be a comment on one of their posts. It could be just consistently liking their pictures, to get that interaction going between you, and messaging them about anything. Like, they don't have to respond to your stories for you to initiate connections. You can just go to your followers, go to their profiles, and just look at like their profile, look at their pictures that they're posting on their Instagram, and then just message them and start a conversation. And it could be about anything, like, hey, I saw you had 2 kids. I have 2 kids too. Or, hey, I saw you were a teacher. When did you start school? Like, are you back in school yet from the summer? Like, anything to start a connection. It could literally be about anything. So
yeah. And when you comment on someone else's post, their friends are seeing your comment and they're seeing your name. And so that causes more engagement on your page, because they might want to check you out and see who you are and, you know, what you're all about. So that's really important as well. How long do you work on connection building before working on invites? I think connections should be a daily thing. Like that's even on our tracker here. That's the first thing, initiate connection and add followers. So how long do you wait before you invite that person? Whenever you feel comfortable. If you feel like you have established like a good relationship with that person, and you can kind of lead into that invite, then do it. It may take like a week or so before you feel comfortable like actually inviting that person. But to me, if they're consistently on your page like for at least a week or two, you need to be inviting them because they're interested in what you're doing. Can we invite people into the group that we're already in? You can invite them only if they purchase a challenge pack. That's what gets them into the group. And then when they purchase the challenge pack, then you can copy that link from the group and we'll approve them, once they have all their stuff and all that. When you follow up with someone that doesn't answer, when do you follow up with someone that doesn't answer or just ghost? If they ghost you or they don't answer you, I'm going to be following up with them like every week or so, depending on when my next challenge group is coming up. Especially if they said they were interested at some point and they just keep ghosting me, then I'm just going to keep I'm going to keep messaging them because at one point they were interested and they just got busy with life like we all do. We all leave messages unread sometimes. Don't take offense to that, you guys. Don't think in your mind, oh my gosh, I'm bothering them. 9 times out of 10, they have a crazy busy life like everybody else, and that has nothing to do with you or what they think about you. But they just need that reminder of, hey, I have this opportunity for you. Are you still interested? Kind of thing. Are you consistently having direct messages with multiple people? Yes, you should continually be having conversations going on with people. If it's not about the actual group and like inviting, then it should be connections. It should be about a recipe. It should be about something in your stories. Every single day, you should be having a conversation with someone. If you are not, you need to get busy. I'm just going to say that. Your business is not going to move forward if you are not having conversations with people. Your post should reflect engagement. Your post should be thought provoking. We've talked about, how to do all of these things. Your post should cause people to want to reach out to you and ask you questions about things. Those are all your stories, your polls, all of that should be things that cause people and you to be able to reach out to them to have something to talk about, right? There's been times where on my post, like if somebody just liked it, I would say, hey girl, thank you so much for showing love on my post. That was a really hard post for me, but I felt like I needed to say that. I really appreciate that. And then I may ask them a question about it or something. Like that's totally not an invite, but a way to connect with them about what they already liked. So there's no like, you're not bothering them. They already told you that they like what you're doing kind of thing. I've had one person join last week, so they would be in this week's prep and September group, right? Yes, they'll be in this week's prep week, and then, yeah, that's the September group. Yep. Any other questions about inviting or anything before we have to hop off of here? We have 8 minutes left. So the one thing that you have to remember with invites is don't think, just do. Okay? Just do it. You have to do the things in this business. You cannot sit back and be scared, y'all. You can't be scared of what people are going to think or what they're going to say. You have to be confident in who you are, in your journey, in this company, in this community, and you have to do it. You have to invite. And you have to be willing to answer people's concerns when they do come back with you and ask questions about what it is that you do, because I talked to Lisa, my coach, for probably a week before I like asked her all kinds of questions. Like I was one of those that was just like, now I was asking her about the containers and like what a red stood for. Like I was like all about, and she was so patient with me and she answered my questions and she voice messaged me. And that's another thing you guys really need to be doing is voice messaging because it's so much more personable. And they can really get to know you. And for me, that meant so much to me that she was a real person. This was a real company. This was a real community. She actually cared about helping me before I even bought anything. Um, and that made all the difference to me. It was her. Not everything she was telling me, but the way she was willing to help me and be patient with me. So if someone does come back to you and say, well, I'm just not really sure right now, or I have this concern about this. Don't be upset, you guys. We all have concerns. You guys know what it's like when you go to purchase something that's huge. Like a challenge pack is a big deal. That's a lot of money. If you're going to go purchase something that's that much money, you're going to be doing your research, right? Like you Google everything, you find the best one, you ask around, you talk to people. Like you have to be willing to give people that time and to talk to their husbands or look at their finances or whatever it is and encourage them along the way, but not let it get to you personally, right? Because it's their decision and it's a big decision. So just keep that in mind too when you're inviting and you're having those conversations when people do come back to you. All right, I think we're going to close it out unless you have something else, Ashley, to add.
I just want to add really quick with if they give you guys an excuse like time or they need to talk to their husbands or anything like that, like Joy said, you have to be patient and you have to come off like you're being patient, even if you really don't want to be patient. And find ways to relate to their struggles. Because if they can see that you went through the same thing that they're going through, then they're eventually going to come around just like you eventually came around. So find any way to relate to what their excuse is. Like if they just say like, oh, I have no time, like you can say like, oh, I have 2 kids and I'm working this full-time job and I'm doing all these things. But I have found that it's really important for me to take 30 minutes a day to work on myself. And I would love to help you find that 30 minutes a day in your schedule too. So just finding that way to relate to them and show them that you're busy too. It's not like you just sit on Instagram all day, right? Like you have your own life going on too. If they say they need to talk to their husband, like I had to talk to my husband before I spent our money. Our money is joint. I can't just go spend $160 without him knowing. So relate to that. Say, oh, I totally get that. Take your time. Let me know what he says. Like I had to talk to my husband too when I first started. I had to explain everything to him. He was actually really hesitant on it. These are the reasons X, Y, and Z why he didn't want me to do it to begin with. Like just relate to them and give them like that thing to feel comfortable with so that they know that it's not like we just like popped out of nowhere and we're like, hey, we're amazing and we lost all this weight super easily. Like we had to get over those struggles too in the beginning. So just make sure you're relating to them on that level. Like think back to when you signed up. Like how long did it take you? What excuses did you make for those first couple months or first weeks or whatever before you actually signed up so that you can relate to them? They're way more likely to sign up with you and actually jump into a boot camp. It might not be right then and there, but it might be next month or the month after that.
And another thing I just thought of that I have been trying to do lately when someone tells me, I don't have the money right now or I'm still not ready, especially if it's someone I haven't really been talking to as much, then I'll say, okay, well, if you need any meal plan ideas or recipe help, let me know because that's my jam. That's what I love. So let me know if you would like some free stuff with that. And they're always like, oh my gosh, yeah, that would be awesome. And then I send them something. That is going to stick with them and they're going to know like your heart in this and they're going to know like you're a coach and you're here to help them, not just sell them something. So always be willing to offer them something free if they're not ready to purchase yet. It could be a free group. It could be a free meal plan. It could be a free recipe. It could be the meal prep idea. Ask them what they struggle with the most and help them. You have the tools. You know all the things. You have the tools. You just have to be willing to share that with them. So thank you guys so much for hopping on. I think this is the most we've ever had. And I think we're going to continue. Oh, I see some more. Oh, I missed a bunch of questions. Dang it. I've had one oh, well, I already got that one. Does anyone ever use the 7 to 14 days free?
Our time might cut out. So
yeah, I think we're going to cut out. Oh. Yeah, I think, yeah, we have like a minute. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and end this so it doesn't cut us off. But we will address, I think we're going to, you want to take a picture?
Yeah, let's smile, everybody, before we all disappear. Okay.
So we're going to continue the team calls for September, right?
Yes, okay. We are. Joy and I will get together and we'll come up with all the topics for you guys. If you have ideas or things that you want us to go over, just let one of us know. That way we can add it to our September team call idea list.
Yay. Thank you guys. You're so awesome. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.